Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins. Today we're exploring one of the most intriguing coins in American history, the 1966 Washington quarter. You might be wondering, how can a coin that millions of people carried in their pockets be worth up to $1.6 million? You may have seen the headlines, the posts online, and the rumors flying around that a rare 1966 quarter fetched a seven-figure price at auction. So what's really going on? Is this just another internet myth? Or is there some truth to this incredible claim? Sit back and let's dig into the story of the 1966 Washington quarter, its history, its hidden value, and what makes a few of these coins worth a potential fortune. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It was designed by sculptor John Flanagan and quickly became one of the most familiar coins in American life. Originally, quarters were made from 90% silver, but that all changed in the mid-1960s. In 1965, the United States Mint made a dramatic shift. Due to a growing shortage of silver and the rising costs of coin production, silver was removed from most circulating coins, including the dime and the quarter. From that point on, quarters were made from a copper core bonded with a copper-nickel outer layer, what we now call clad coinage. The 1966 Washington quarter was only the second year that this new composition was used. And here's where things get interesting. During this transitional period, the mint was under a lot of pressure. In fact, from 1965 through 1967, the mint did not place mint marks on any coins. That's right, whether your 1966 quarter was made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it wouldn't have a mint mark. This was done to discourage hoarding and to simplify production during a very busy time. Now on the surface, the 1966 quarter doesn't seem like anything special. Over 821 million quarters were minted that year. It's not rare in terms of how many were made. In circulated condition, most 1966 quarters are still only worth their face value, 25 cents. Even in uncirculated condition, common examples might be worth a few dollars. Where does the big money come in? The real excitement begins when we talk about rare mint errors, high-grade specimens, and coins struck on the wrong metal planchets. These are the types of mistakes that happen during production and can turn an everyday coin into something truly valuable. One of the most sought-after versions of the 1966 quarter is a coin that was accidentally struck on a silver planchet. Yes, even though silver was officially removed from quarter production in 1965, some leftover silver blanks, known as planchets, were mistakenly used in 1966. If a 1966 quarter was struck on one of these silver blanks, it would look and feel different from the standard copper-nickel coins. How can you tell? A standard 1966 clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. A silver quarter, on the other hand, weighs around 6.25 grams. So if you suspect you have a silver planchet error, the first thing to do is weigh the coin. If it's heavier than usual, you could be holding something special. The sound of the coin can also give you a clue. Silver quarters have a distinct ring compared to the duller sound of clad coins. And don't forget to check the edge. A silver quarter will have a solid silver edge, while clad coins usually show a copper-colored stripe. That a verified 1966 quarter struck on a silver planchet is incredibly rare and can be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars depending on its condition and who's buying it. Where does the $1.6 million figure come from? This number likely comes from exaggerated or misreported sales circulating on the internet. While there's no official auction record of a 1966 quarter selling for $1.6 million, the combination of a rare mint error, an extraordinarily high grade, and strong collector demand could, in theory, push the price of a unique specimen into the seven-figure range, especially if it's the only known example of its kind. We've seen it happen with other coins. A 1943 copper penny sold for over $1 million. A rare 1913 Liberty nickel sold for more than $3 million. So is it possible that a one-of-a-kind 1966 era coin could fetch over $1 million someday? Absolutely. But as of now, that figure remains more of a legend than a documented fact. Still, the 1966 Washington quarter is definitely a coin worth watching. Whether it's a silver planchet error, a double die, an off-center strike, or just an exceptionally well-preserved coin, collectors are paying attention. Coins graded at mint state 67 or higher can already bring in impressive sums. And if you happen to stumble across a 1 in a million error, it could be life-changing. So what should you do if you think you found a rare 1966 quarter? First, handle the coin carefully. Don't clean it, don't polish it, and don't rub it. Cleaning a rare coin can actually reduce its value. Weigh it on a precise digital scale. Examine the edges and the surface for anything unusual. And then consider sending it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. These services can authenticate the coin, grade it, and certify its condition. A certified high-grade coin or verified mint error will always be worth more on the market. Coin collecting is full of surprises. What looks like an ordinary coin today could turn out to be a hidden gem. And the 1966 Washington quarter is proof that even in a year of high production, there can still be extraordinary value hidden in plain sight. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into rare coins, valuable finds, and the history hiding in your pocket change. And let us know in the comments, have you ever come across a 1966 quarter that seemed a little different? Maybe you've been holding on to one without even knowing it. Until next time, happy hunting, and keep an eye on your change. The next $1 million coin might already be in your hands. Would you like me to help create a YouTube title, thumbnail text, or a catchy video description to go with this script? I can also tailor this to include timestamps or callouts for visuals if you're editing the video. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. If you're a coin collector, a history buff, or just someone who heard about a 1965 Washington quarter being worth over $1 million, then this video is for you. Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1965 Washington quarter, its background, why it's interesting, and whether or not one of these coins can really be worth $1.7 million. Spoiler alert, there's more to the story than just the date on the coin. So let's start from the beginning. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design, featuring Washington's profile on the obverse, was created by sculptor John Flanagan. It replaced the standing Liberty quarter and quickly became a familiar sight in American pockets and purses. Now, let's fast forward to 1965. This was a major turning point in U.S. coinage history. Prior to 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But due to a rising demand for silver and an ongoing coin shortage, the U.S. Mint made a drastic change. They decided to remove silver from most circulating coins, including the dime and the quarter. So in 1965, the Washington quarter changed from a silver coin to a clad composition. That means the coins were now made of a copper core sandwiched between two layers of copper-nickel alloy. They still looked similar, but they no longer had any silver content. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because 1965 was the transition year, the U.S. Mint stopped dating coins 1964 until well into 1966. This was done to prevent hoarding and confusion during the metal changeover. However, during this transition, a few silver planchets, that is, silver coin blanks intended for 1,964 quarters, were accidentally used in the production of some 1965 quarters. And this is where the big money comes in. A 1965 quarter that was accidentally struck on a silver planchet is a rare mint error. These coins look almost identical to regular 1965 clad quarters, but they weigh more, about 6.25 grams instead of the standard 5.67 grams for a clad quarter. They also have a different ring when dropped and lack the copper-colored edge of the clad versions. Collectors go absolutely wild for these error coins. One example of a 1965 quarter struck on a silver planchet sold for over $7,000 at auction. That's incredible for a coin you might otherwise overlook in your pocket change. But wait, what about this $1.7 million story? Every so often, headlines pop up claiming a 1965 quarter sold for over $1 million. Most of the time, these stories are misleading or based on misreported auction results. As of now, there is no confirmed or documented sale of a 1965 Washington quarter for $1.7 million. That said, some rare error coins, such as certain 1943 copper pennies or double-die Lincoln cents, have fetched hundreds of thousands or even millions, but not the 1965 quarter. At least, not yet. Still, that doesn't mean you should ignore your spare change. The 1965 silver error quarter is real, and finding one could still be a big payday. The key is knowing what to look for. First, weigh the coin. If it comes in at over 6 grams, that's your first clue. Next, check the edge. A true silver quarter from 1965 won't show the distinctive copper core you usually see on modern coins. And finally, get it tested by a reputable coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC.so. Let's break it down. The 1965 Washington quarter is historically significant because it marks the first year the U.S. stopped using silver in quarters. Most are worth just face value, maybe a few cents more if they're in uncirculated condition. But a rare few, struck in error on silver planchets, can be worth thousands. The idea that one sold for $1.7 million is mostly myth at this point, but it's not impossible. If a unique and perfectly preserved error surfaced, and it had a well-documented backstory, it could fetch a very high price. Coin collecting is about more than just value. It's about history, mistakes, craftsmanship, and the stories behind every piece. And the 1965 quarter is a perfect example of how even an everyday coin can have an extraordinary story. So before you toss that quarter into a vending machine or drop it into the tip jar, give it a second look. You never know. That little piece of metal might be one of the rarest and most valuable coins out there. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment down below if you've ever come across a strange coin in your change. We've got plenty more content coming up on rare coins, hidden treasures, and the secrets inside your own pockets. Until next time, happy hunting and take care. Let me know if you want a shorter version, additional visuals, or a thumbnail idea to go with it. Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins, everyone. If you've ever glanced at the change in your pocket and wondered if one of those coins could actually be worth a fortune, then this video is for you. Today, we're going deep into the story of the 1997 Washington quarter, a coin that many people overlook but one that's gained surprising attention in the world of rare coins and collectors. You may have seen headlines or heard whispers online about a 1997 quarter selling for as much as $1.1 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, let's find out what's behind that number. Is it a myth? Is it real? Or is there more to this story than most people realize? Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932. It was first minted to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington and has remained one of the most iconic coins in the United States. For decades, the design remained relatively unchanged, with the familiar portrait of Washington on the front and the heraldic eagle on the back. Now in 1997, the U.S. Mint was still producing the original Washington quarter design. This was actually the final full year before the launch of the 50-state quarters program, which began in 1999 and completely changed how people viewed and collected quarters. So in many ways, the 1997 Washington quarter marked the end of an era, the last chapter of the classic quarter before the explosion of modern collecting. The 1997 quarter was minted in Philadelphia, which is what the P stands for. And here's the thing, over 595 million of these coins were produced. That means it's an extremely common coin when it comes to sheer numbers. You can still find these in your pocket change, your kitchen drawer, or your coin jar without much effort. So why would anyone say one of these coins is worth over $1 million? Here's where things get interesting. Most 1997 quarters are only worth face value. However, when it comes to coin collecting, not all coins are created equal, even if they have the same date and mint mark. The true value comes down to condition, rarity, and sometimes minting errors. There are a few extremely rare 1997 quarters that were struck with unique die errors or other anomalies that make them incredibly valuable to collectors. For example, some quarters have been found with double die features, off-center strikes, or even coins struck on the wrong planchet, which is the metal blank used to make the coin. These kinds of mint errors are what turn an ordinary coin into a highly sought-after collectible, and if one of those rare error coins is discovered in pristine, uncirculated condition, graded as MS67, MS68 or higher, its value can skyrocket. In fact, one of the highest-grade 1997 quarters ever recorded by a top grading service sold for thousands of dollars at auction. Combine an ultra-high grade with a rare error, and now you're talking about serious money. But what about the $1.1 million claim? This number likely comes from a mix of misinterpreted auction data, clickbait headlines, and the excitement around extremely rare coin errors. As of now, there is no officially documented sale of a 1997 quarter for $1.1 million. However, that doesn't mean it's impossible. In the coin world, the right combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand can push prices into the six or even seven-figure range. It's rare, but it has happened before, just not yet with a 1997 P quarter. So what should you be looking for? First, pull out any 1997 quarters and check for the P mint mark. Look at the edges, surfaces, and details. Are there any unusual markings? Do the words look doubled? Is the design off-center? Is the coin abnormally thick, thin, or discolored in a strange way? These are signs of potential mint errors. Next, check the condition. A coin that looks like it just came out of a fresh roll, sharp details, no scratches, full luster, is always going to be worth more than a heavily worn one. And if you think you've got something special, your next step should be to send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified high-grade or recognized error can be the difference between a 25-cent coin and a coin worth thousands. Now here's a quick tip for all you coin hunters out there. Even if you don't find a $1,000,000 quarter, don't underestimate the value of building a collection of well-preserved coins. Coins like the 1997 P, especially in mint state, are getting harder to find in circulation every year. Collectors are snapping them up, and the better the condition, the higher the future value might be. So here's the bottom line. The 1997 P Washington quarter is not rare in terms of how many were made, but certain rare varieties and high-grade examples are worth serious money. While no coin from this year has officially sold for $1.1 million, it's always possible that a previously unknown mint error or flawless specimen could break records one day. That's the excitement of coin collecting. You never know what you'll find next. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a 1997 P quarter in your change, or if you want help identifying coins from your own collection. Until next time, happy hunting, and remember, treasure might be hiding in your pocket right now. If you want a title, thumbnail caption, or video description to go with this script, let me know. I can also add callouts for B-roll or text overlays if you're editing the video yourself. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a really fascinating topic that's been creating some serious buzz in the coin collecting world. You may have seen the headlines or heard rumors about a 1992 Washington quarter, specifically the one with the P mint mark, being worth as much as $1.3 million. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, stick around because we're breaking down the full story. We're going to talk about the history of the 1992 P quarter, what makes it special, the truth behind those million-dollar claims, and what you should look for in your own spare change. Let's get into it. The Washington quarter has been a part of American currency since 1932. Designed to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the quarter originally featured a classic portrait by John Flanagan. Over the years, the quarter has gone through a lot of changes, but in 1992, we were still looking at the traditional design that had been used for decades. So what about the 1992 P? Well, here's the deal. In 1992, the U.S. Mint struck quarters at several different facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint coins carry a small letter P on the front of the coin, right next to Washington's ponytail. That's what gives us the 1992 P Washington quarter. Now, most 1992 P quarters are extremely common. Over 500 million were produced that year. Yes, you heard that right. 500 million. So by itself, a regular 1992 P quarter is typically only worth its face value, 25 cents. Maybe a little more if it's in uncirculated or mint condition. So why are some people saying it could be worth over $1 million? That's where things get interesting. There is a rare version of the 1992 quarter known as the close AM variety. Now, this term is actually better known in reference to pennies, but it applies to certain quarters as well. It refers to the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse side of the coin. On most modern coins, there's a noticeable gap between the A and M. But on these rare varieties, the letters are so close they're nearly touching. This was the result of a proof die accidentally being used on regular circulation coins. In other words, a die intended for special proof coins, those shiny, mirror-like coins sold to collectors, was accidentally used to strike some regular circulation coins at the Philadelphia Mint. These coins have sharper details and slightly different spacing in the lettering and other features, Combine that with the fact that these are extremely hard to find, and you have a recipe for a valuable coin. Now, has one of these rare 1992 P-Close AM quarters actually sold for $1.3 million? The honest answer is not officially. While there are reports floating around the internet claiming that one of these quarters sold for over $1 million, most of these stories are exaggerated or unconfirmed. In reality, some rare Washington quarters from other years, especially those with significant mint errors or very rare varieties, have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. That's still a huge number, but not quite $1.3 million still. That doesn't mean the 1992 P quarter isn't worth looking for. A coin with a rare die variety or an extremely high-grade uncirculated version could fetch thousands of dollars at auction, maybe even more depending on the market and the story behind it. And the thing is, these rare coins often slip through the cracks. They end up in jars, drawers, or even in your pocket change because they look so similar to regular coins. So what should you look for? First, pull out any 1,992 quarters you have and look for that small P mint mark next to Washington's hair. Then flip the coin over and look closely at the word America. Are the A and M almost touching? Is the detail a little sharper than usual? If so, you might be holding on to something valuable, and don't just stop there. Check the edge of the coin, the thickness, and the luster. Coins that are perfectly struck with no scratches or wear can also be valuable even if they're not errors. If you think you have something special, take it to a professional coin dealer or send it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC. They can give you a certified opinion and might even open the door to a big payday. So here's the bottom line. The 1992 P Washington quarter is mostly a common coin. But if you find one with the right error, variety, or exceptional condition, it can be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. And while the $1.3 million story might be more myth than reality at this point, it's a reminder that treasures can sometimes be hiding in plain sight. That little coin you almost threw in the vending machine could end up being a collector's dream. Before you go, make sure to like this video if you found it helpful. Subscribe to the channel for more coin collecting tips, rare finds, and deep dives into the most valuable coins in U.S. history. And drop a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin in your change? Or do you have a 1992 P quarter you want us to take a closer look at? Thanks for watching, happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next one. If you'd like a version tailored for a specific tone, educational, dramatic, beginner-friendly, or for a coin dealer, just let me know and I can customize it further. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you've ever wondered whether that old quarter in your change jar might be worth a fortune, today's episode is going to blow your mind. We're diving deep into one of the most talked about quarters in modern U.S. coinage, the 1983 P Washington quarter. There are rumors floating around that this coin has sold for as much as $1.4 million. So, is that really true? Is this just another internet myth? Or is there actually something special about this coin that could make it worth a small fortune? Stick around, because we're about to explore the history of the 1983 P quarter, what makes it different, how rare it really is, and the truth behind its shocking value claims. Let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of America's first president. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the quarter became a staple in American currency and remained mostly unchanged for decades. But in 1983, something happened that coin collectors still talk about to this day. The United States was still recovering from a major coin shortage that began in the early 1980s. As a result, the U.S. Mint suspended the production of mint sets in both 1982 and 1983. That means there were no special collector versions of coins from those years produced by the Mint. The only way to get a 1983 quarter was from circulation, in other words, the same quarters that were tossed in change drawers, dropped in vending machines, and worn down by everyday use. And this is where the 1983 P quarter becomes special. Because there were no official mint sets for collectors in 1983, finding a 1983 quarter in truly uncirculated condition is extremely rare. Most of the quarters from that year have heavy wear, dings, scratches, and other signs of circulation. So when a 1983 P Washington quarter shows up in nearly perfect condition, collectors go crazy for it. A high-grade 1983 P quarter, especially one graded MS67 or higher, can fetch thousands of dollars at auction. But wait, there's more. One of the most famous 1983 P quarters ever discovered featured a dramatic error, It was missing part of the reverse design due to a die adjustment issue. These types of mint errors can drive the price of a coin way up. And over time, as more collectors entered the market and interest in modern coins grew, the value of rare 1983 P quarters began to climb. Now let's talk about that $1.4 million claim. There have been several online stories suggesting that a 1983 P Washington quarter sold for over $1 million. These claims are usually tied to either extreme mint errors, rare die varieties, or coins in nearly perfect condition that are virtually impossible to find. But here's the truth. As of now, there is no confirmed record of any 1983 P quarters selling for $1.4 million at a major auction. However, some versions of this coin have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, especially those graded MS67 or MS68 by services like PCGS or NGC. The real value lies in a combination of condition, rarity, and collector demand. And because of the missing mint sets, the 1983 P quarter stands out from other modern coins. So what should you be looking for? First, flip through your loose change or your coin jars and check for any quarters dated 1983 with a small letter P above Washington's ponytail. That P means it was minted in Philadelphia. Next, examine the condition. Is the coin worn and scratched, or does it still have sharp details and luster? If it looks nearly flawless, it might be worth getting it professionally graded. And if you come across a coin with an unusual look, like a missing part of the design or an off-center strike, it could be an error coin, and that could make it even more valuable. A high-grade 1983 P quarter in mint state condition can be worth anywhere from a few hundred to several $1,000s. And while we haven't seen one hit the $1 million mark yet, the possibility of a unique error variety or an ultra-rare pristine coin breaking that barrier isn't impossible. Coin collecting isn't just about money. It's about history, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. And the 1983 P Washington quarter represents all of that. It's a common coin with an uncommon story. A piece of pocket change that, under the right conditions, could be worth more than a new car or even a house. So the next time you get change at the store or dig through an old drawer, don't overlook the quarters. You just might find a 1983 P with the potential to change your life. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more rare coin stories, value breakdowns, and collector tips. And let us know in the comments, have you ever found a rare coin in your change? Do you have a 1983 P quarter lying around? Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy hunting and good luck on your treasure hunt. Let me know if you'd like a version focused on kids, beginner collectors, or with ideas for visuals and editing. I can also help you write a YouTube title, thumbnail text, or description to go with it. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most surprising coins in American history, the 1991 P Washington quarter. Now at first glance, this coin might look like any other quarter you've seen in your change jar, but there's more to it than meets the eye. Some rare versions of this coin have sold for staggering amounts of money, including one that reportedly reached a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. So what makes the 1991 P quarter so special? Is it rare? Is there an error? Is there something about this particular coin that collectors are dying to get their hands on? The answer is yes, and we're going to break it all down for you. First, let's talk about a little history. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932. It was originally released to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, America's first president. The coin was supposed to be a one-year commemorative, but it was so popular and functional that it became a permanent part of American currency. By 1991, the Washington quarter had been around for nearly 60 years, and the design was largely unchanged. It featured George Washington's profile on the obverse with the word liberty above his head and God We Trust to the left, and the date. Below it on the reverse was a bald eagle with spread wings perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath. The letter P on the coin indicates it was minted in Philadelphia. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most 1991 P quarters are worth just their face value, 25 cents, but a very small number of these coins have extremely rare mint errors or unique conditions that make them incredibly valuable. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, even up to $1.2 million in extreme cases. So what should you look for in a 1991 P quarter that could make it worth a fortune? First, check for errors. One of the biggest reasons a coin becomes valuable is because of a minting mistake. These errors are unintentional but can make a coin one of a kind and highly desirable to collectors. For example, look for off-center strikes, double dies, or coins struck on the wrong planchet. A wrong planchet error happens when a coin is struck on a blank mint for a different denomination. Imagine a quarter struck On a nickel or dime planchet, this kind of error can dramatically increase a coin's value. Another extremely rare but sought-after error is the full brokerage error, where one coin is stamped into another during the minting process, resulting in a mirrored image on one side. These are extremely rare, and collectors will pay big bucks to own one. Next, condition matters in the world of coin collecting. Condition is king. The highest grade a coin can receive is mint state 70 or MS70, meaning it's in perfect uncirculated condition. If you have a 1991 P quarter that's never been used, never been scratched, and is essentially perfect, it could be worth thousands on condition alone. But the most famous 1991 P quarter, the one that reached that $1 million mark, is believed to be a combination of multiple rare factors. It was struck with an extraordinary error, possibly on the wrong planchet, with an ultra-high grade, possibly MS70 or proof-like, and authenticated by one of the top grading services like PCGS or NGC. It's one of a kind, and when a coin is that rare and in that kind of condition, the price can skyrocket at auction. Let's talk about auctions for a moment. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers have sold rare quarters for tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. In the right market with the right bidder, even a common coin can sell for extraordinary sums if it has rarity and a great story behind it. So, what should you do if you think you have a valuable 1991 P quarter? First, do not clean it. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value. Instead, take it to a professional coin dealer or grading service. Have them examine the coin to determine its authenticity and condition. If it's something rare, they can help you get it appraised or even help you sell it at auction. And here's a quick checklist for your own 1991 P quarters. Check for the P mint mark to confirm it's from Philadelphia. Look closely for any odd features or errors. Check the coin's condition. Uncirculated coins are more valuable. Compare it with online listings or professional auction results. Consider getting it graded if you think it's something special. Remember, just because a coin is old doesn't mean it's valuable, but if it has a rare error or is in mint condition, it could be worth much more than face value. In closing, the 1991 P Washington quarter might not look like much, but hidden among the millions of regular coins are a few rare treasures. One of these coins has made headlines for selling around $1.2 million. And who knows, maybe you have one sitting in a coin jar at home. Keep your eyes open, check your change, and if you find something unusual, you just might be holding a small fortune in the palm of your hand. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more hidden coin treasures and incredible finds from American history. Hit the bell so you never miss a story that could change your life, one coin at a time. See you in the next one. Let me know if you want a version with on-screen text prompts or image recommendations for the video.